Welcome to another episode of the MDM podcast. I'm Mike Hockett, our executive editor. With MDM's Shift Conference coming up May 13th through the 15th in Denver, we're rolling out a series of podcasts that feature speakers who will be at the event. These shorter episodes look to help familiarize our audience with those speakers, preview what they plan to share at Shift and why it's important, and provide some meaningful nuance into their areas of expertise. You can find all of the Shift details, including the agenda, registration, and hotel info at mdm.com/shift. Next up is Dr. Bharani, who is seen in the industry as a guru for young talent recruitment and retention efforts in distribution, with an especially great understanding of what today's college graduates and younger generations are looking for and what they expect when it comes to distribution jobs, and what your company can do to attract these Gen Zs and millennials and make them want to stay. At Shift, Bharani will lead the culture track of our roundtable discussions, having attendees discuss, brainstorm, and help problem solve about each other's talent management challenges and opportunities. Along with previewing that, I have Bharani share his perspective on a handful of other talent topics. Enjoy. Bharani, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Mike, for having me.
Bharani, you've been with Texas A&M University since 1999, getting your master's and doctorate there, and then going from graduate assistant to director of operations, and then to director of A&M's Master of Industrial Distribution program. You've been a professor there since 2017, so you're about as Aggie as it gets. What do you like most about the university that has kept you there for most of your professional career?
Thank you, Mike. After working at Texas A&M for 25 years, I consider myself still a student. It's a great learning environment. We get to work with a lot of distributors and manufacturers on an everyday basis. Learning from them, adding value to them. As the industry has evolved and transformed, there are lots of challenges and opportunities, and that's a unique learning environment. All of this helps me become a better teacher, a better educator, and help us to produce students who are industry ready.
That's great. And we've had discussions in the past. I can tell you're very passionate about this. And Texas A&M has long been one of the preeminent educational pipelines for the distribution industry, and you played an instrumental role in that. So what does make you passionate about helping this industry produce talent?
Yeah, as you have written, this industry is huge. We are a $8 trillion industry, accounting for 27% of the GDP. And this industry is here to stay, right? And distributors have a tremendous opportunity to add value and grow, especially independent distributors. At Texas A&M, we are coming up on our 70 years of excellence. And our role is to produce talent that is ready for the industry with engineering and technical sales skill sets. We encourage our students to get internships. We work with the industry in designing their recruitment plans. And we work with industry very closely. I mean, we would not be in existence without the industry. We work with a wide range of distributors and the manufacturers in industrial and construction sectors. And I am very excited to be a part of Texas A&M ID program and work with this great industry.
Well, for most of the past 100 years or so, a large portion of distribution talent came from families. Someone's dad or mom was in the business, so the son or daughter joined the company and worked their way up, and then their son or daughter did the same thing. And we do still see a lot of that, especially in small and medium-sized distributors, especially those independent ones, but not nearly as much as in previous decades. Most of these companies just can't no longer rely on those internal family talent sources. So when you look at the state of the talent pipeline for distribution, when you started following this industry compared to today, how would you say it's changed and does it concern you?
Yeah, so let me start by making an observation that distribution has moved from an entrepreneurial run companies to a professionally run companies. That's a big difference in the last few decades. Also, the industry has moved from relationship oriented selling to value added selling. We have to move beyond the box. Distributors have to add value and provide services. Everything from design, engineering, to services and repair, you see, vending, VMI, and supply chain services, right? All of these things help distributors become more sticky with customers. The technology, they play a role. They make your business faster, cheaper, and better. But to answer your question, distributors have not done a good job of growing their talent, of competing with other industries on talent, everything from the big box warehouse down the road to tech companies and retailers. So I will just use one example in areas where distributors can make a difference. The example is on job titles. For a long time, distributors have had the roles of customer sales rep, inside sales, and outside sales. There is room to innovate there, to modernize the job titles, to attract young talent, right? And nobody wants to go to a 4 year college and become a customer service rep. It sounds like a call center job, right? But if you had a bearing specialist or a solution consultant, those job roles they sound better, right? So yes, I am concerned that distributors are falling behind in competing with other industries on talent.
And we've heard about the talent gap in US manufacturing for about at least a decade now, it seems, which and the talent gap is described as the lag in new talent to replace the retiring staff, largely baby boomers, that still lead much of this industry. And as recruiting and retention has become more challenging over the past decade, we know that distributors are looking more and more to technology to augment their talent challenges, and many are just having to do more with less talent. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on if the industry might be too dependent on technology and seeing it as a sort of a crutch as opposed to investing in talent management, or are they approaching technology the right way when it comes to the pace or the reliance on it?
This is an excellent question. Technology is an enabler, right? It helps us to automate tasks, uh, dig deeper into data, but people execute strategies, right? Your growth depends on your people. The quality and the quantity of your workforce is very important, right? Technology is going to help us get better and more profitable, but your people are the ones who are executing the strategies, because ideas are cheap, execution is the differentiator. So it's important to upskill our talent, to embrace technology, and to educate our employees on using technology to drive growth. So as an example, CRM by itself is not going to drive profitability. Your employees using the CRM effectively is going to drive profitability.
That's a great example. And distribution isn't traditionally seen as an industry that's been tech forward or embracing technology, but especially with the onset of AI, I think we're seeing that change somewhat, where we're seeing the adoption rate among AI technologies be very robust compared to previous adoptions. So it makes me wonder, while at the same time we don't want to see distributors become too reliant on technology, a lot of these Gen Z and millennials that are coming in the industry grew up on technology. They're the ones that are used to using it day in and day out and probably want to use it in their day to day work lives. So, do you see technology in its current infusion being an attractive point for that younger talent that want to join a tech forward company?
Absolutely, absolutely. The technology used by distributors eliminates repetitive, boring tasks that young people don't want to do. They are quite tech savvy, and they can add value at higher levels. And they are not afraid of technology. In fact, they would like to use technology to make their jobs smarter and to add value and to be seen as a productive workforce. So the technology used by distributors is a plus to attract the right talent. Um, Also, the younger talent, the next generation of talent is not going to push back on technology use, right? So I see that as positive. In the future, technology is also going to help with talent recruitment, retention, and management. We are not there yet, but it's coming soon.
Well, you're set to be one of our featured speakers at MDM's Shift Conference in mid May. And there you are set to lead our culture focused roundtables. And these roundtables will be small group discussions comprised of pre selected cohorts. And from NAW's executive roundtable events, I've seen how these roundtables really let attendees share and discuss challenges that they're trying to solve and then brainstorm solutions with each other in a kind of SWOT analysis type fashion. So, with these culture roundtables, what are you hoping attendees get out of them? And what kind of questions do you think that we're looking to ask of these attendees?
Yes, I am very excited to be a part of the Shift conference. I would like the attendees to learn and live with how to compete on culture, right? So the very first focus is to understand what culture means and how to develop an engaging culture, because your culture is defined by the worst behaviors you tolerate, right? How do leaders and the managers, they set a tone for the right culture? So for example, by establishing a psychological safety to encourage diverse ideas, to to fail fast, to experiment, and also I want the attendees to leave with an understanding of what is a culture of excellence and how do you develop a culture of innovation. All those things that are going to help you execute your growth strategies.
We're definitely looking forward to that in May. We're recording this here in mid-March, and I know that one of the topics that Texas A&M, the distribution program, one of the areas they help advise upon is summer internships. And A&M's Talent Development Council publishes a weekly Talent Matters newsletter. I would highly recommend anyone look into that. It's full of recruiting and retention best practices, which includes advice on internships and how to get the most out of them. I know we're still a few months away from summer here, but there's likely many distributors that don't even know where to start when it comes to forming an internship program. Can you touch on maybe what those initial steps look like?
Absolutely. I want to start by outlining why do you need an internship program. Internships are a try before you buy option for testing talent. It's a 10-week extended interview for both sides. You are interviewing them for their skills and work ethic, and they're interviewing you for your culture. And is this the place I want to wake up on Monday morning and come to work? It's also a sustainable pipeline to develop talent. because we have seen many distributors, they post an open job and wait for qualified and top talent to apply, and they are disappointed. I call this strategy post and pray, and that's not a good strategy, right? When you have internships, you are able to convert some of them into full time. So what are some initial steps? The first step is to get buy-in from your frontline managers. They should know that internships are a way to recruit talent, and it's their job to engage with interns. The second step is to set up a structured internship program, preferably a rotational one with a project involved. Most internships are about 10 or 11 weeks long. The third step is to recruit interns by partnering with local universities. I recommend to start with schools that are in the 100-mile radius of where you want the intern to work, and send your managers and young talent, people who are 3 years experience, to go and speak to prospective interns to recruit. At the end of the day, make sure the interns have a good experience, because if they have a good experience, they're going to go and tell all their friends about it. And if they have a bad experience, they're going to go and tell everybody about it. And
Definitely.
it's important to develop your brand. And I think we highly recommend internship programs for all companies.
That's great. And just, yeah, I'll repeat it again. Texas A&M's Talent Development Council has a weekly Talent Matters newsletter. Internships are just one of the topics it covers. There's just a lot of talent management, retention, and recruitment tips in there. So definitely check that out. Bharani, that's all I have for you here, but we're very much looking forward to your roundtable discussions there at Shift. And any final thoughts on this topic before we sign off here?
Thank you, Mike. Again, I want to say that for distributors, your growth hinges on your talent. As I said again, ideas are cheap, execution is the differentiator, and people execute your strategies. Fundamentally, over the last decade, the power balance between employers and employees have shifted. The employers no longer have the power they used to, because there are more jobs and less people in the marketplace. And that is going to stay like that for at least the next 5 to 10 years. And employees, they know that, right? So we need to get better at recruiting, developing, and retaining a top talent. For distributors, you need to do two things. Number one is to improve your talent processes, everything from recruitment to training, to performance reviews. You need to improve your processes. And the second area is to compete on culture. We have heard companies obsess about customers, become customer centric. I would argue that we also have to become employee centric, become obsessed with employees, what is that they want, and how can we become an employer of choice.
Well, there's, like you said, there's definitely a need for this, and there's definitely an appetite for this kind of content. So we're glad to have someone like you in here to help distributors navigate these talent issues. So, Bharani, thanks once again for joining the podcast, and we'll look forward to seeing you at Shift.
Thank you, Mike. I look forward to it.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the MDM podcast, which was brought to you by our 2025 Shift Conference, set for May 13th through the 15th in Denver. You can find all the event details at mdm.com/shift, and we would love to see you there in May. And you can find all of our past podcast episodes at mdm.com/podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts.